Hi everybody, my name is Michaela DeWitt, and this presentation is about Boris Frederick Skinner and his impact on psychology. In this video, I'm going to talk about his early life, his major theories and research, how his ideas are applied in the real world, and his impact and legacy in psychology today. B.F. Skinner was an American psychologist as well as a writer, inventor, and mentor to many students. He is best known as one of the key figures in the development of behaviorism. His work focused on understanding behavior through reinforcement and environmental influences. Instead of looking at internal thoughts as the main cause of behavior, Skinner believed that behavior is shaped by what happens around us. Skinner was born in Susquehanna, Pennsylvania, and grew up in a structured and disciplined household. His father was a lawyer, and his mother played a major role in maintaining the household. This kind of environment likely influenced his later interest in routines and structure. As a child, he enjoyed building things, experimenting, and solving problems, which became important in his research style. He also experienced a major loss when his older brother died from a cerebral aneurysm at age 16. Skinner attended Hamilton College, where he earned a degree in English. He originally wanted to be a writer, but struggled to find success and described this time as frustrating and uncertain. He even spent time in Greenwich Village trying to figure out his future. Eventually, he shifted his focus to psychology and attended Harvard University, where he earned his master's degree and later his PhD. After completing his doctorate, he stayed at Harvard for several years doing research, where he began developing many of the ideas that would define his career. Skinner later taught at the University of Minnesota, where he met his wife, Yvonne Blue, and started a family. During this time, he also invented the air crib, which was designed to provide a controlled and comfortable environment for infants. Although it was controversial, it reflected his interest in how environment shaped behavior. He later became chairman at Indiana University before returning back to Harvard, where he spent the rest of his career teaching, researching, and mentoring graduate students. By the end of his life, he had written more than 200 books and articles and remained intellectually active even shortly before his death in 1990 from leukemia. One of Skinner's main contributions is his theory of radical behaviorism. He believes psychology should be treated as a natural science, focusing only on observable and measurable behavior. According to Skinner, behavior is lawful and shaped by environmental factors. Unlike early behaviorists like John B. Watson, Skinner did not ignore thoughts and emotions. Instead, he argued that they are also behaviors, just occurring internally and still influenced by the environment. One of Skinner's most important ideas is operant conditioning. This is the idea that behavior is influenced by its consequences. If a behavior is followed by a positive outcome, it's more likely to happen again. He introduced this concept in his book, The Behavior of Organisms, in 1938. His work built on earlier research by Ivan Pavlov, but instead of focusing on automatic responses, Skinner focused on voluntary behavior and how it's shaped over time. Reinforcement increases the likelihood of a behavior, while punishment decreases it. Both can be positive or negative depending on whether something is added or removed from the environment. Skinner emphasizes that reinforcement is generally more effective than punishment for behavior change over a long period of time, which is an idea that's still used today. To study behavior, Skinner created the Skinner box, an experimental chamber used with animals like rats and pigeons. This allowed him to carefully control the environment and observe how behavior changed based on reinforcement. These experiments demonstrated that behavior can be shaped in predictable ways. Skinner also developed the concept of shaping, where small steps toward a behavior are reinforced over time. He also studied schedules of reinforcement, showing that behavior does not need to be reinforced every time to be something that's learned. He learned that variable reinforcement schedules tend to produce the strongest and most persistent behaviors, which helps explain things like gambling or even social media use. Skinner also studied language, which he called verbal behavior. He believed language is learned through environmental interaction and reinforcement rather than being biological. He identified types like mands, which are based on needs, and tacts, which involve labeling the environment. This showed that even complex behaviors like communicating can be analyzed using the same principles as other behaviors. Skinner applied his work to many real-world settings. In education, he developed teaching machines and promoted self-paced learning. In therapy, his ideas led to behavior modification techniques and token economies, which are still used in areas like addiction treatment and autism intervention. He even contributed to military research through Project Pigeon, where pigeons were trained to guide missiles. Today, his ideas can also be seen in technology where apps and social media use reinforcement systems to shape user behavior. Skinner also explored his ideas through writing. In Walden 2, he described a utopian society based on behavioral principles and environmental design. In Beyond Freedom and Dignity, he questioned ideas like free will and autonomy and argued that behavior is determined by environmental factors. The ideas sparked debates about ethics and control. Skinner's work became the foundation for behavior analysis and continues to influence many areas of life. His ideas are used in education, therapy, parenting, workplaces, and public policy. Interestingly, many of his contributions are so integrated into everyday life that people often don't realize they came from his work. Despite his impact, Skinner's work has been criticized. Some argue that behaviorism is too deterministic, it ignores human thoughts, emotions, and free will. Others believe his ideas could be used in ways that are both controlling and dehumanizing. His work was also criticized by Noam Chomsky, especially regarding language and whether it could be fully explained through behavior. Over time, psychology shifted toward cognition and neuroscience, which reduced the dominance of behaviorism in psychology. Overall, Skinner had a major impact on psychology and how we understand behavior. His ideas about reinforcement, environment, and learning continue to influence modern practices even if they have adapted over time. He remained dedicated to his work throughout his life and continued contributing to psychology even near the end of his life. In the end, Skinner changed how we think about behavior by showing that it can be studied, predicted, and shaped through scientific principles.